Very excited to welcome onto the show now via Zoom, new Bellator middleweight Lance Wright. You can follow Lance on Twitter and on Instagram at boogeyman.mma. Lance, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I know you're super busy with everything you have going on in your life, training, getting ready for your next fight. So thanks for carving out some time for me today. How you doing today, man? How you feeling going into later this month when you're going to be back in action? Well, and your Bellator debut on Bellator 261. How you feeling today, man?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, training camp is dragging on. I feel sore, tired. I'm looking forward to fight week where I can rest up and really start to feel myself again. But you got to break the body down so that way we can go and ramp it up at that, have that peak performance. But all in all, I feel amazing. Overall, it's been a really great training camp. My opponent got sick and my fight got pushed back 2 weeks. And I really think that 2 weeks is going to help, put some gas in my tank, make sure that I can go the full 3 rounds if need be.
Awesome. And we're very excited on the Man in the Cage podcast here to see you compete. We love Team Elevation. We love what you've done in your career so far. So we're very excited for it. We're a little bummed. Obviously, it's not tomorrow. You have Bellator 260, but we are excited. It's going to be on Bellator 261 coming up later this month. And I'm going to ask you a little bit more about your training camp, all that in 1 second. But I did want to clear something up with you real quick, man. So I was on Tapology today, and then I was on SureDog. Tapology has you as 5-1 in your career. SureDog has you as 3-1. Are you 5-1 or are you 3-1?
I'm 5-1. Yep.
Okay, so SureDog, they're shorting you a couple wins then, man. I think we need to hit SureDog up, and I think we need to make sure they give you that 5-1 then, because I was looking at that and I was like, no, that can't. I think he's 5-1, but SureDog has you as 3-1. So I think we should petition them or write them or something, email them to get you those extra 2 wins, man.
Yeah, I should send them an email. Tapology, they're always on it. Always got the results the next day. So I don't know what's going on, ShareDog. Step your game up in 5-1.
I know, right? Exactly. Especially going into your Bellator debut here. And, again, you're making that Bellator debut later this month. You were signed, I'm guessing you were signed just recently by Bellator. I mean, how did that process go for you? And, your opponent coming up is going to be Taylor Johnson still. You're supposed to fight him on Bellator 260, now 261. But just walk me through that process a little bit of how you got in touch with Bellator. Did they get in touch with you? Did the opportunity arise that they needed an opponent for Taylor Johnson? Just walk me through the whole process of being signed by Bellator, because that's got to be really exciting, man, right? When you're signed by a big promotion like that, like Bellator.
So I'm going to back up to the start of 2021, basically. I was scheduled to be on The Ultimate Fighter for the Tough Return season 29 that's airing right now, and I was on the show, gonna be flying out to Vegas, and then I got COVID. So yeah, and then I was training for that for probably about 6 months because it got pushed back. It was originally going to be at the start of 2021, then it got pushed back until April. And I was on the cusp of going on The Ultimate Fighter. And unfortunately, I got COVID. It happens, I guess, to some people. So that really bummed me out. And then I kind of took like a 3-week hiatus and got a little out of shape and everything. And then after I was back in the gym for about 2 weeks, my manager, Brian Butler over at Sucker Punch, he gave me a call. And pretty much he was trying to get me in some regional promotions back home in Indiana and stuff like that. And I told him, I was like, look, man, my cardio is good. If you got something on short notice, hit me up. Let's go. And then he just kind of gave me a look, and he was just like, he could tell that I was serious and I was about it. And then the next day he called me back and he was like, look, I got this offer for Bellator, 3 weeks notice. If you feel ready, I think it's a great opportunity. So I snatched that up and I said, send me the contracts, signed it right away. And then I just started, the process of breaking my body down from training camp. And we got to the point where it was about 2 weeks out. And then, opponent got sick, added another 2 weeks. Now it's a 5-week training camp, which is kind of ideal for me. I believe the universe will provide, and things kind of work out that way. So that's how I ended up in this situation, being able to, make my Bellator debut.
That's awesome, man. And did they just sign like a 1-fight deal with Bellator, or did you sign a multiple fight deal with them? I mean, you don't have to go into that if you don't want to, but is it just 1 fight, or you have multiple fights with them possibly? Or
Multiple fights, but there's always chance to, renegotiate and see what's out there in the world. But I definitely feel like Bellator, they pay their fighters very well. It's a very respectable organization, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to showcase my skills at the highest level.
Absolutely, man. And when just one more on this real quick, and then we'll go into your opponent, your training camp a little deeper. But when you signed this or you got the offer, you talked about the Ultimate Fighter. That's got to be heartbreaking at the time, to have a tough break like that. And I've even fighting on Bellator 260 coming up Friday. Nuke Newell, he had 2 fights canceled this past year because of COVID. One, he got it himself. So I know a lot of fighters have had to deal with it, but I'm sure it's really tough to deal with at the time, especially when you have an opportunity like the Ultimate Fighter. But then you get this deal to go fight in Bellator. I mean, what were your emotions when that happened? I mean, because you're blood, sweat, and tears in the gym. You're over there at the Elevation Fight team, grinding every day. So, what were your emotions when you signed that? I mean, did you get a kind of a happy cry, or did you get like a very let's just go grind in the gym? I mean, how did you feel when that happened?
I mean, I just felt like it's my time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried a little bit after I got COVID. So I mean, but at the end of the day, man, I'm here to fight. I'm not here to be on a reality TV show. So I really wasn't too heartbroken about not being on there on the Ultimate Fighter, because like, I don't know, they do a lot of crazy stuff on there, like pissing in each other's beds and like, I don't know, like weird pranks and stuff like that. And I don't know, if somebody tries to do that to me, I might kill them. I don't know, who knows? But it's kind of a relief that I'm not on a reality TV show, and that I'm able just to go and all I have to do is win. I don't have to worry about people liking me or anything like that. All I have to do is win. So that's kind of where I was at with my emotions with that. And then when I got the call for Bellator, I just thought to myself, all right, it's time. It's time. All this that I've put into. I'm from Indiana originally, and I moved to Colorado about 3 years ago to train with Elevation Fight Team. Thank you, Neil Magne, for giving me a place to live out here. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and I'm just thinking it's my time to shine. I'm going to go out there and give my all, 15 minutes to win it.
It's so awesome, man. Let's get into your opponent a little bit now. And you already mentioned it a little bit, but because I saw that he had put an Instagram post out there, obviously saying that it was, not his fault, but he said he had something going on with him. And I didn't know if it was injury or he was sick. So you're saying that that's what it was, that he was sick. Is that what your team or Bellator told you, that that's what happened to him and that's what pushed it back?
Yeah, that's all I heard was he got sick. I don't know anything else about that. So, hope a speedy recovery. I hope that his cardio is going to be there. I don't want any excuses for at the end of the fight for why he's going home crying.
Absolutely, man. And now again, you're coming up later this month. You have Bellator 261 against him, Taylor Johnson. He's got a collegiate wrestling background, and let's get into him a little bit more. He's got the collegiate wrestling background. He's been known to stand up and bang with guys at times, things that you can do very well, of course, as well. But just tell me a little bit more insight into your opponent. What do you think of his game? Your thoughts on him overall?
Taylor, he's a very tough opponent. He comes forward, he throws big shots, and like you said, he's got the wrestling background. Very excited to see, what's going to happen in that first round, because a lot of fireworks. I definitely feel like he's going to come out strong, like how he has in his previous fights, and we're going to see what happens. I definitely feel that as far as the ground goes and everything, I'm pretty savvy as far as submissions and everything. So if he wants to take me down to the ground, let's go. He's got a heel hook over Ed Ruth. So if you want to play footsie with me, let's go, man.
I love it. I love it. Lance Wright, middleweight, Bellator middleweight, joining me right now. And you mentioned the first round there a little bit, and being able to go wherever he wants to take the fight and wherever you want to take the fight, you're going to be very comfortable with that. What would you say is your strongest part of your game coming into this fight? And is there, again, I always ask fighters this, or I always tell them that obviously you don't want to, and this, not give away too much of your game plan, not give too much away, but is there a way you want to go into this fight attacking him? Is there a specific game plan you have in mind coming into this fight?
I'll tell you that my plan is to strangle him.
I like it.
That's how the fight I see ending, is with me strangling him. So that's just all I'm going to say about that.
I like that. That's a little Clubber Lang-esque from Rocky, right? What's my prediction? Pain. I like that. I like that, Lance. Your training camp, Team Elevation. I want to get more into little Team Elevation in a second, but training camp in general, you said, you're actually, it seems like you're glad maybe that, you get a little bit of a longer of a training camp, because I know some fighters, not that you didn't want to fight obviously on Bellator 260, but some fighters, they get that extended training camp. Maybe it's not the best thing in the world. Obviously, you got to be eating a little bit different. Not that you're eating bad ever, but you got to be doing things a little bit different. It sounds like you enjoyed that you get a little bit longer of a training camp. So in general, has your training camp been going very good and how you want it to go then?
Yeah, I mean, you always get these little stupid injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm super grateful. I've got a great team behind me. I've got great training partners. People come from all over the world to train with Elevation, and the fact that I've been around here training with these guys for that long, I've definitely earned my spot on the team. And I'm just out there grinding every day, working on my striking, not just being complacent, because I've got a good submission game, but I'm constantly evolving as a martial artist. A lot of times you see me stalking people and coming forward, and you might see some more of that, or you might see a little bit more elusive boogeyman this time. So, just keep your eyes open.
I like it. I like it. And you mentioned there again, Elevation Fight Team. I mentioned a few times as well. Also throw out their High Altitude Training Center in Easton, all training partners there, but especially the Elevation Fight Team. You're from Indiana. You go to Colorado. How has the Elevation Fight Team helped you in your career? I mean, how have you evolved as a fighter because of Elevation Fight Team?
I really would say that the main thing that has evolved is, my striking game. From Indiana, I was able to go and get a very good, I was able to go and, get a very good jiu-jitsu and wrestling background in Indiana, training under some very good guys over there. And, I think that being out here and being around all of the great strikers has definitely rubbed off on me, and I was able to evolve that part of my game as well.
And, speaking of great strikers, I mean, what's it like training around guys and with guys like Justin Gaethje? And, you can go down the whole list, Corey Sandhagen, all the guys over at Team Elevation, at one point, Alistair Overeem. I mean, what is it like training with these great strikers on a day in and day out basis? I mean, I'm sure they give you a little bit run for your money as you give them a little bit of run for their money sometimes too. But what's it like training with all these guys?
I'm not gonna lie, it was really intimidating the first time that I sparred with Alistair. I'm not gonna lie, that guy out one time, but yeah, they're super humble, super nice guys. I they're always down to help. Any questions that I have to ask, they're very open about helping, and they know that the tide rises all ships. The better I get, the better they will get by having a better training partner. And I'm very grateful to be able to learn and be around all of these great martial artists, day in and day out.
Absolutely, man. And, I hear from even this week, for a lot of the media days about Sanford MMA and some of these other gyms, that a lot of these guys, a lot of fighters, including yourself, will not have specific training partners sometimes. I don't know how Elevation Fight Team works, but do you have a specific someone you work with more than anybody else at Elevation Fight Team? Or is it just, again, you're all trying to help each other, and I'm sure you worked all together at one point, but is there someone specific you're working with more than anybody else at Elevation Fight Team?
Well, right now, my striking coach is Nafel Caceres, and he's an up and comer. He's been Thai boxing since he was about 14 years old. He's not professional yet, but he just signed with Sucker Punch as well. So look out for Nafel. He's on his way up. And as far as training partners go, it really varies, because guys have different training camps, and then they come in and they leave. So I haven't got to train with Neil that much this camp, because he's just got off of his last win over there against Jeff Neal. But I would say Neil Magne, he was one of my main training partners. Bojan Velichkovic, he's making his Octagon debut coming up here in the next week or so. I've definitely been getting some sparring rounds with that guy, and all these guys, they come from all over the world. Neil actually got his start with Miguel Torres. That was one of his first trainers, and I fortunately was able to train with Miguel as well. and that was our little connection to put us together. And Neil, he needed a training partner out here. He needed a good guy. So Miguel sent me out there, told me to go find Neil Magne. And I went out and started training with him. Neil thought I was good enough to be on the team. So he kind of gave me the blessing, and everyone accepted me because of that. And Neil was even nice enough to be my landlord for a time and give me a place to live. So, can't say enough of good things about that guy. Getting rounds with him. Also, Ben Bennett, he's a newer guy on the team. I've gotten some sparring rounds with him. Good wrestler. Keep an eye out for that guy as well. Ty Flores, another guy that, he's a 205 pounder fighting for Fury. He just is coming off of a win as well. I'm always in there wrestling and getting rounds with that guy. So those are a few of the people that I work with day in and day out. Cody Donovan, he's one of my main coaches over there. He works a lot with Curtis Blades and Neil as well. He's a very intuitive ground coach. He's a great mastermind for strategy and, great warfare minds, I would say as well.
That's great having so many people around you like that. And, you're talking about Neil Magne a lot. And that's so awesome to also have a guy like him in your corner. What's it like working with Neil Magne? You mentioned he's just coming off of his fight. Neil Magne is such a cardio machine. Obviously, being in Colorado there, you're always going to have an advantage anyway. But Neil Magne is one of the best cardio fighters I've ever seen. Maybe, you could put Tony Ferguson up there. There's some other guys, but Neil Magne has such great cardio. I mean, you have to think that rubs off on you a little bit. I mean, how is it working with Neil Magne when he's probably just pushing you constantly in the gym?
Well, I will say that for the camps that I've been with Neil and sparring with him, he uses his cardio as a weapon.
He does.
He will go and lean on you and make you work and get you as tired as can be. Then when you can't lift your arms anymore, then he'll go and go in for the kill. He's got a great work ethic. He's out there. I can't believe that he hasn't got a belt yet. He's been around the game for the longest time in the top 10 division. So, and I know we got Kamaru Usman that trains with us sometime too. So, it's kind of a weird situation there where we got the champ and we got Neil in the same room sometimes. But I definitely think that would be something crazy one day. But who knows what's going to happen? Neil's even, briefly mentioned he's got to win over Calvin Gastelum, who's up at 185.
Mm-hmm.
He could move up to 185, and I think that he would take some of those big guys, give them a run for their money there. But I don't know what his plans are. I'm just super grateful to be able to train with that guy, and very happy for all the things that he's taught me.
Absolutely. And just a few more for you, Lance, and then I'll get you out of here. Speaking of one of your other teammates, I want to ask you about him real quick because we have UFC 263 coming up on Saturday. Drew Dober also trains out there in Colorado with you guys. And funny story real quick, I'll tell you about Drew Dober. So me and my wife, we used to live in Colorado as well. And I used to go to a certain restaurant sometimes and watch the fights. And I used to see Drew Dober there sometimes. He'd always be drinking a glass of red wine. So I've always found that story interesting, that Drew Dober is a red wine guy. You can go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with that. Less calories than beer, right?
That's true, actually. That's true. That's my problem. See, I need to switch to red wine, just like Drew Dober. So I used to see him doing that. But Drew Dober, always a very nice guy. Always have loved him in his career, and excited to see him competing against Brad Riddell coming up at 263. What are your predictions for his fight, if you have any, against Riddell? And how have you seen him in his training? How has he evolved as a fighter since you've been at Team Elevation?
Well, with Drew being a 55-pounder, I don't really get to spar with him or, do a whole lot of grappling with him. I see Drew a lot at Landau Performance, and I know when he's there, he's hitting the cardio really hard, and he's maintaining his weight and getting all of that. So I think him having a good weight cut is definitely going to be a good factor in this fight. He's got great cardio. He's got great power in that left hand. And I think that, if he touches him, he might go to sleep.
Absolutely. He's got some fast hands too, and some good solid boxing. Drew Dober does very good boxing. Yeah, I'm really
boxing as well. He's got some solid kicks as well. Very good range man.
Yeah, he does for sure. He's got some very good boxing, and it'll be very exciting to see him compete on 263. Two more for you real quick, Lance. Actually, three more. I'll get a prediction. You already kind of mentioned it anyway for your fight coming up on 261, Bellator 261, but I'll get your official prediction for your fight too in a second. But just a couple quick ones for you. Some general things, just getting to know you a little bit more. I always like to ask athletes, fighters, what do you like to do in your free time? So what do you like to do in your free time when you're not, I mean, I know you're so busy. I think you just got back from teaching a kickboxing class, you're training, you're doing a bunch of things, but when you do have some free time, what do you like to do?
I really like to take advantage of the mountains out here in Colorado. I really love hiking and camping. Taking my little dog Bentley out for walks and stuff like that. Oh, you just heard me. Yeah. Other than camping and hiking, I'm an avid disc golfer, and I like to play poker with a lot of the guys on Elevation Fight Team. And that kind of got kick-started. We got the Elevation Poker Club that started during COVID, so now we meet weekly and trade each other's money.
That's awesome. Anytime you can do that, and I probably build some team chemistry too. Of course, as you know, people don't think of MMA or boxing even as a team sport, but you guys are all a team training together, obviously. So that's really cool to hear that. So that was your free time. But now, what about guilty pleasures? I hear fighters all the time, like Adrian Yanez. He's like obsessed with Dr. Pepper in the UFC. Ronda Rousey used to eat a bunch of wings after she'd win fights. What's your guilty pleasure? If you win coming up on Bellator 261, which I think you will, what's your guilty pleasure? What's your go-to, man?
I don't know, man. I just like food in general. Pizza, any
Yeah.
type of pizza. Like, I'm from the Midwest, so any type of deep dish pizza. I'll probably get some blue pan pizza here in Denver. That's one of my favorite. They make a really good Detroit style pizza. Yeah, guilty pleasures. I have to say I'm addicted to sugar. Reese cups, and Reese's fast breaks. Those are some of my guilty pleasures, I would say. Yeah. And it's really hard to get off sugar. Sugar is a drug. If you don't know, sugar is a drug, and it affects your brain the same way cocaine does. So, yeah, that's.
So stay off the M&Ms, right? Or at least try to stay off them as much as possible, right? All that sugary stuff. I agree with you, man. So last one for you. So you're going to have the Detroit pizza. You're going to have some sort of pizza, maybe some sugar, maybe not, ready for you after Bellator 261 when you get that win. But how are you going to get that win? Give me the prediction right now. Are you going to go out there and pick them apart for 3 rounds? Or like you just mentioned, I think a little while ago, are you going to go for that submission against them?
You guys are going to see me strangle them. That's my prediction.
I like it. I like it. Short and sweet, simple, to the point. And I can't wait to see you fight coming up later this month, June 25th on Bellator 261. He is new Bellator middleweight Lance Wright. Again, you can follow him on Twitter and on Instagram at boogeyman.mma. Lance, again, thanks for carving out some time for me. I really appreciate it, man. It's been fun. Take care. Have a good rest of your training camp, and we'll be wishing you luck and getting ready to see you get that victory coming up on Bellator 261, my friend.
Awesome, bro. Thank you for having me. It's been a great time.